Okay, this is chapter 41 of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. 41. She got home just as her parents were leaving to take a Harry Pottered Josh trick-or-treating. "Come with us, Pickle," her dad said as her mom zipped him in his Ghostbusters costume. "I should stay in and edit my essay," she said, "and deal with the trick-or-treaters." "Can't give yourself the night off?" her mom asked. "Nope, sorry." "Okay, sweetie, remember other sweeties by the door." Her mom giggled at her own joke. "Got it, see you later." Josh stepped outside, waving his wand. "Accio candy." Pip's dad grabbed his marshmallow-shaped head and followed. Her mom paused to kiss the top of Pip's head and then closed the door behind them. Pip watched through the glass pane in the front door, and when her family reached the end of the drive, she pulled out her phone and texted Robbie, "Come to my house right now." He stared down at the mug clasped between his hands. "Mr. Ward?" He shook his hand. "It can't be." "It can, though," Pip said, her knee rattling against the underside of the chair. "He doesn't have an alibi for the night Andy disappeared. I know he doesn't. One of his daughters was at Max's house all night, and the other one was sleeping at mine." Robbie exhaled, and it rippled through the surface of his milky coffee. It must be cold by now, like hers. "And he has no alibi for the Tuesday when Sal died," she said. "He called in sick to work that day. He told me himself." "But Sal loved Mr. Ward," Robbie said in the smallest voice she'd ever heard from him. "I know." The table suddenly seemed very wide between them. "So, is he the secret older man Andy was seeing?" Robbie said after a while. "The one she met at the Ivy house?" "Maybe," she said. "Andy spoke of ruining this person. Elliot was a teacher in a position of trust. He would have been in a lot of trouble if she told someone about them. Criminal charges, jail time." She looked down at her own untouched coffee and her warped reflection in it. "Andy called Elliot an asshole to her friends days before she went missing. Elliot said it was because he found out Andy was a bully and contacted her father about the topless video. Maybe that's not what it was about." "How did he know about the hit and run? Did Naomi tell him?" "I don't think so. She said she's never told anyone. I don't know how he knew." "There are still some gaps here," Robbie said. "I know, but he's the one that threatened me and killed Barney. It's him, Robbie." "Okay." Robbie locked his wide and drained eyes on hers. "So, how do we prove it?" Pip moved her mug away and leaned on the table. "Elliot tutors 3 times a week," she said. "I'd never really thought of it as weird until tonight. The Wards don't need to worry about money. His wife's life insurance paid out a lot, and her parents are still alive and super wealthy. Plus, Mr. Ward used to be a college professor. He probably has a good salary. He only started tutoring just over 5 years ago in 2014. "Okay. So what if he's not tutoring 3 times a week?" she said. "What if he, I don't know, goes to the place where he buried Andy, visiting her grave as some kind of penance?" Ravi pulled a face, lines of doubt crossing his forehead and nose. "Not 3 times a week." "Yeah, okay," she conceded. "Well, what if he's visiting her?" She only thought it for the first time, and the words formed in her throat. "What if Andy is alive and he's keeping her somewhere, and he goes to see her 3 times a week?" Ravi pulled the same face again. A handful of near-forgotten memories elbowed their way into her head. "Butterfingers," she muttered. "Sorry?" Her eyes started left and right, grappling with the thought. "Disappearing Butterfingers," she said louder. "Kara keeps finding food missing from their house. Food she just saw her dad buy. Oh my God, he has Andy and he's feeding her." "You might be slightly jumping to conclusions here, Sarge." "We have to find out where he goes," Pip said, sitting up, her legs shaking again. "Tomorrow's Friday, a tutoring day." "And what if he's actually tutoring? And what if he's not?" "You think we should tail him?" said Ravi. "No," she said as an idea dragged itself to the forefront. "I have a better idea. Give me your phone." Ravi rummaged in his pocket and pulled out his phone, sliding it across the table to her. "Passcode?" she said. 1122. What are you doing?" "I'm enabling Find My Friends on our phones." She clicked on the app and sent an invitation to her own phone. She swiped her cell open and accepted it. "Now we are sharing our locations indefinitely." And just like that, she said, shaking her phone in the air, "we have a tracking device." "You scare me a little bit," he said. "Tomorrow, at the end of school, I need to find a way to leave my phone in his car." "How?" "I'll think of something." "Don't go anywhere alone with him, Pip." He leaned forward, eyes unwavering. "I mean it." There was a knock at the front door. Pip jumped up and Robbie followed her down the hall. She picked up the bowl of candy and opened the door. "Trick or treat!" a chorus of tiny voices screeched. "Oh, wow," Pip said, recognizing two vampires as the Yardley children from 3 doors down. "Don't you all look scary?" She lowered the bowl and the 6 kids swarmed toward her, grabby hands first. Pip smiled at the group of adults waiting for their kids to cherry-pick the candy, and then she noticed their eyes, dark and glaring, fixed on a point past Pip's shoulder where Robbie stood. 2 of the women drew together, staring at him as they muttered small, unheard things behind their hands.